Gohana, L, and Rayo are finally reunited together as brother and sister after Goku Blue and Xeno Goku finally butt fists like, yeah, thanks man, and Rayo and Gohana are incredibly sorry to each other and want to make it up to each other, and they hug, and Rayo says that she's gotten stronger, and she admits that he's gotten stronger as well. Maybe they'll have to test out their new powers together and see which one of them is still the strongest. And Rayo says that he'd like that, but first they need to get over this war, which the other Time Patrollers aren't too sure about letting them back in. However, Goku tells them that they need to trust them. Now is not a time for a conflict. However, as he says this, there is an invasion of Kryptonians. However, it isn't just Kryptonians on this universe. It's some of the Demon Clan and other henchmen, like deviants from other timelines. One being an alternate version of a child Few or a child demon, whichever you want to prefer it as. And the Time Patrollers and everyone else is scattered, like they are shot at. Boom, everything goes south. And so, as everyone is on the floor and trying to pick themselves up, Goku and Zeno are trying to figure things out. They have to team up, and Kara is trying to protect the Supreme Kai of Time, and the other Time Patrollers are scattered. However, they are protecting the neighboring planets, and Gohana and Rayo are side by side, and they power up together, turning Super Saiyan together and then evolving to their ultimate forms, which currently is right now Rose or Love for Gohana, and for Rayo it is Super Saiyan 4, as they then see Xeno Goku and normal Super Goku stand side by side and get ready to take down one of the random demons while the Kryptonian army is invading on the main universe. Since they figure this demon is leading them, since he's the one that, if he points his sword a certain way, the Kryptonians follow it and whatnot. So now that we have established the generals, it's time for Blue Goku and Xeno Goku to team up. Xeno Goku and main Goku stand side by side ready to initiate their ultimate attack. Xeno Goku has especially something to work out in his system, and the Supreme Kai gives them a special aura and a power-up that allows them to use an even more powerful Kamehameha, which they do fire beautifully. They end up erasing Few completely. Goku and Xeno look at each other and ask what was that new power, and then the Supreme Kai says that she elevated them, and she didn't just elevate them, they elevated, and then as they turn their heads, it's Kara, which is Supergirl, comes in and is just beating these Kryptonians down. And it's not even a challenge. She's been superpowered, she's been training for a while, she has a full link on her abilities, and she might be even able to evolve soon. But she's right around the level of Super Saiyan 5 Goku. And the boost was to make sure that they killed Few, because what she did was delegate his time powers and lock him in place so the blast would have to hit. It would have to hit him. So basically, she gave him a dub. But after that, we look over at the other Time Patrollers and we see that other ones like them are struggling against the Kryptonians. And some of them unlock their blue transformation. Some of them turn Super Saiyan 4. Some of them do this, that, the other. Some of them activate Golden if they're a Frieza race. And they just begin raging an all-out war, holding the final line. And Goku sees fit that they need to come in until they see that Gohana and Rayo come soaring in their ultimate forms, and they both uppercut a Kryptonian, kick him back, and begin ambushing them. And then Rayo says that they need to push him back as they see some Kryptonians retreating. They both hold a blue sun collar and get amped up by it, and then fire their most powerful techniques, which Rayo would fire a key-powered energy blast from his eyes, and then we would see Gohana use her chest and fire a massive beam from there, and it would incinerate a lot of planets. However, they were vacant because, this universe's Goku had them be like, hey, evacuate, where things are going to get rough, this is the rift, la 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 la. And it comes in, and the Kryptonians start running back. And then they stop in fear, and then look at the blast and take it on, killing themselves. Which everyone is confused by. They're like, you had a full chance to escape. What in the world is, what's going on? And this is where we witness that Alien X is here. And he is wanting them dead. And he looks at them and he tells them that they're a nuisance. And Goku immediately knows what's going on. He's like, okay, full power now. Like, he turns Super Saiyan Super Saiyan 5. Main Goku turns Blue Kaioken because he can't fully tap into MUI yet. And everybody else, they're just like, well, what's the big deal? If they're powering up, we need to power. Gotta get ready for it. So they, get up to their legendary forms, and Alien X is like, no, not y'all. He waves his hand and stops them. Like, they can't move. They don't even know what's going on. It's like Hit's time skip, but on steroids. Like, if the steroids were on steroids. So, Alien X, while everyone is frozen in time and cannot move, he walks by them, and he looks at the Supreme Kai and Zeno of this timeline, which are the only ones that can move. He looks at them, and he's like, I've figured out why I haven't been able to become God yet, or on the level of a God yet. I've been needing something that's been missing for a long while, and I now realize why you had it, and I'm ashamed that I didn't remember it while I was working for you. You have to be special to run a specific section of the multiverse or omniverse, which means that something about her, the Supreme Kai of Time, is very special, very particular. What is that? And then he put the pieces together. Her herself, the God of Destruction of Time, and the Angel of Time, and the Supreme Kai of Time, all share one crystal each. And that crystal lets them bend the timeline and traverse it and whatnot without any casualties, as long as they use it correctly, which most of them have been. Sorry, voice crack. Most of them have been. So, Alien X tells them that no matter what they're planning, nothing they do will come against him, and he needs something for him to become God. He can manipulate time, space, and reality all with a thought, but he still is limited by some rules of time due to them. So he needs her shard. And Zeno immediately knows what's about to happen and jumps in the way, but it's too late. Alien X blasts through Zeno's chest, then blasts through and grabs the Supreme Kai of Time through his chest, then sucks the crystal off of her, and it lands in his hand, and he pulls his fist out. Zeno then drops to the ground, and Alien X chuckles that this was the best they can do. He then unpauses time as everyone fires their blasts in the opposite direction of what he's standing in, and they destroy the rift, leaving some stranded Kryptonians. And Alien X says that this is perfect. He then absorbs it, getting a yellow mist around one of his arms, and then it relegates back to his normal form, but he is immensely more powerful now. And he turns at everybody and tells them that today has been a very productive day. Thank you for supplying me with the shard. I am off to meet the God of Destruction and then become God myself. And then teleports away as everyone is like, oh no. Everyone is picking themselves up and dealing with the wounded as many Namekian healers come in and are healing the wounded Time Patrollers and warriors that fought in the fight. And the Kryptonians are being locked up for the ones that survived, the Kryptonians that were trying to flee but didn't get killed by the blast or Alien X. Yeah, they're trying to survive, and so they are captured and put in cells, and that'll be important later. But as of right now, everyone's picking themselves up and whatnot like that. And Ryo looks at Gohana and questions what they're going to do. And then they look over and see Goku helping Zeno back up. And Zeno heals himself back up. Like, just, it's fine. He's good now. It's fine. He's good now. Sorry. I've been sick here lately. Anyway. They help him back up and are relieved to know that their best hope at defeating Alien X isn't dead. Bad news is, even now they don't know if they could defeat Alien X. There's nothing stopping him from just getting to the Hikaishin and then the Angel and then just absorbing their crystals too. And which leaves both of the Gokus to question, what are they going to do? And Kara looks at the Supreme Kai and says, did she know about the crystal? And she says, no, not for sure. She's always had theories. And to which Kara demands somewhat of an explanation, like, what's going on? Is there a bigger picture you're not telling us? And the Supreme Kai of Time is like, yes, there is. And I should have been blunt and honest with you, but I didn't want the knowledge to overload your minds and kill you. So now, I will tell you the knowledge in simple ways you might be able to understand. And thus, she begins her story. She doesn't remember being created. She just remembers herself being made in the void. And then there was two other beings. One she couldn't see, but could feel it. And the other one was the Hikaishin of Time. They existed, and they knew their purpose. To safeguard all of time and existence, and if things went awry, to battle them. To always keep the balance in check and not let the creation fall. For if they would have to deal with the wrath of whatever's beyond them. The one she could not feel went off, and as far as she knew, she could still feel his presence. She can always feel his presence. But for all she knows, that he's still doing his job. And the God of Destruction of Time, he was tasked with one of the harder jobs. To leave it alone. Until the time came to destroy it. He sits in the throne beyond time itself and watches it. And if things start playing out in a way that time is not meant to flow, he will destroy it. He is far more powerful than any god of destruction and would be most likely able to kill all the gods of destruction at the same time along with their angels if push came to shove. However, he seemed to have been a little more involved than he should have been, such as the other gods of destruction, the many Hikaishins, and, what would eventually become of Rao. Speaking of which, Rao is currently on the move and will most likely be wrapping around the multiverse back to this section. However, she always knew there was a connection between all of them, and now she knows why. Those crystals is what made them. They are self-made, and whatever being made them before the crystals, like whatever being made the crystals, is what is effectively their official god. And the Omni Kings seem to be just little fragments of that power and can evolve themselves. However, it will take a lot of time and energy, and probably more time than any mortal can expel. However, the Supreme Kai explains that she may be able to help them out, but even if she could train with Zeno herself, she will most likely not live as long as him. But since he wants to train with Goku and Vegeta, she cannot affect her own time, but she can affect their time. She can lock their time in place and then have them train with Zeno in a chamber that will give them as much time as they need, or as little time as they need, and help them evolve Zeno's power and help him be able to defeat this new Alien X. He just keeps getting more and more powerful. And with that crystal, he's linked to the other one, so they need to find a way to stop him before he finds a way to find the Hikaishin and then find the Angel and become more powerful and evolve even further. If he turns gold now, who knows what monster he could turn into afterwards. I mean, it would be unimaginable. So Ryu and Gohana have a plan. They're going to take all of the time patrollers and they're going to take Kara and everyone like that, and they're going to go try to find out where the Kryptonians are and stop them from invading universes and gather forces along the way. And then they're going to circle back around to this universe and find a way to stop Alien X. However, this is where Kara feels something. She feels like a pain in her chest, like she's connected to something. And the Supreme Kai of Time comes over to her. She's like, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And she's like, "I feel something. I feel a deeper link to something. Although nothing's happening, she feels a lot of pain." And the Supreme Kai checks on her, and she's like, "Oh no, she's feeling a link to her own native universe. The one that she was sent through a portal. She's feeling her universe. Something's happening in that universe. Oh no, Alien X is there." And this is where we transition over to her. Alien X is soaring in at tremendous speed, which even gets the attention of some of the universe's smartest and most dangerous people, such as this world's version of the Guardians of the Universe, which they send their Green Lanterns out to protect it. Suffice to say, their defenses and mechanisms are nothing, and easily, Alien X destroys the planet. The Superman of this world gathered its forces to be able to protect this world. However, the aliens' power has grown far too much for any one world to handle. As beautifully as world peace sounds and their collective energies together, it is nothing to Alien X. However, since Kara wasn't here in this timeline, Superman had to get a different apprentice. And as Alien X gets closer and closer to the planet, this apprentice is going to try and defend it since they got warned by the Guardians earlier. However, her power, even if it was equal to Supergirl normally, is nothing compared to Alien X. Much like the other heroes, they are nothing compared to him, and he could easily defeat them with a mere thought and wipe out this entire world. However, this isn't why he's here. He's here for the Haitian gem, and as he gets closer and closer to the world, he is bombarded with all these heroes' energies and whatnot, but they are a nuisance to him, and he still cannot sense the Haitian's energy. So the slaughter will begin shortly before he wipes out this entire world in the name of his glory. We then see Alien X grab onto reality itself and tell everybody that in order for them to see what is beyond their reality, they must first see both the light and the dark. He then tears open a door and instantly mind controls whatever is within that door, leaving everyone in the multiverse, even the Kryptonians that even work for him, to shiver. Alien X says that he never would have seen this without the gem's help, and after he finds the Haitian, he will then find the Angel of Time and become the most powerful being in all of creation, and what is even beyond that. But for now, he must introduce to them in the darkest depths of time itself, the dark multiverse, as these start to create rifts in every reality, whether it is Dragon Ball related or not, and starts to destroy the very fabric of the universe, as everything is being sent into disarray. And Zeno looks at the Supreme Kai and the Gokus and tells her that they don't have much time, and she then creates a portal for them to go into, and they leap into it. She then transforms into her ultimate form and summons all the beings and is able to contact them. They're like, "Hey, we're at war now. We need help. We need to, stop them." So she summons all the people she can and all of the positive universes on her side, and has about 10 time patrollers go into the multiverse being like, "Hey, we need help," and then bring them back. "Hey, we need help," bring them back. And that's going to keep going on. Meanwhile, the main time patrollers and the other warriors all dive into battle against the dark multiverse people, and all seems to be going well as they're holding up a formidable challenge against these nightmare-dwelling demons, until we see their most shocking and terrifying realization. Ryo and Kara, as well as Gohan, are shocked and terrified to realize that the one that is leading this charge under the influence of Alien X is the Goku who laughs. And then the Goku who laughs while intimidating them and laughing at them and their despair. He then reveals that there are 4 giant Gokus within the air, all varying in colors, transformations, and whatnot, but they are all darker versions of Goku that existed in the dark multiverse, and now they're invading the positive multiverse and are going through, like, they're literally walking and, like, phasing through one universe to the next and destroying things just to give the Time Patroller something to do. Alien X looks at this dark rift and then flies into it to find out what's beyond it. Meanwhile, Kara, Gohana, and Reo have to deal with Goku, who laughs, as this entire war rages on, and the Supreme Kai holds her most powerful transformation for as long as she can. Meanwhile, we see Zeno training with both Gokus as they start to get even stronger, where main Goku starts to evolve his power and unlock something he hasn't had since he trained in the time chamber for 2 million years, and starts to evolve his power to beyond Super Saiyan Blue and beyond Ultra Instinct into the Omni Super Saiyan form. Zeno, Goku, and Zeno look at each other and are in awe of Goku's new Omni Super Saiyan form. And they both agree that Zeno, Goku, and as well as Zeno himself are only at the tip of their limits. They can go so much further. And Zeno Goku is even more motivated to train with this new Omni Super Saiyan Goku, as they also begin teaching Zeno some techniques to be able to transform and evolve himself. Back in on the battle between the dark multiverse now and the positive multiverse, and the Goku who laughs is easily beating all three of his family members, or his alternate version's family members. He eventually is able to get the upper hand on Gohana and throws her into a mountain, and then grabs Reo by the throat and sends him rocketing through planets. Meanwhile, the whole battle is going on, and Kara decides to contact the other Kryptonians they have just captured and gives them a brief glimpse of what's going on outside, then releases them all, and then has some of their other troops be like, hey, we need backup. And instead of fighting the Time Patrollers, when the troops arrive, they fight the Dark Multiverse. Because this can be felt in other universes, other realities, other animes, comics, everything. It can be felt there. So now they're just trying to find a way to hold off the Dark Multiverse. The Goku who laughs grabs Kara and slams her through all the cells that they had set up for the Kryptonians. He tells her that it was a fruitless effort. They have been buried under the positive multiverse for so very long, with so many possibilities and so many timelines and universes. All of the darkest things, all of the darkest thoughts and possibilities within the positive universe shift all the way down below with them. They know every move, every outcome. Nothing that she does or they could possibly pull off will surprise him. The Goku who laughs then tells them that with Alien X on their side, he will then destroy everything. However, that's what he wants them to think. The Goku who laughs knows the Dark Multiverse better than anyone, since he's lived in it. And if you've seen my previous What If, he managed to become the strongest in the universe because of it. Now, he knows the Dark Multiverse. And he knows what Alien X's plan is, but he also knows what happens to people from the positive world that go to the negative world. The dark world. It eats them. It takes them whole. It won't let them go. It destroys them, makes them an avatar for the darkness. Either way, we're looking at Alien X, who is fighting against the four mini gods of destruction, as well as the Hakaishin of time in the deepest depths of the Dark Multiverse. And he's holding his own pretty fairly until he's finally able to kill the four gods of destruction and then focus solely on the god of destruction of time. To which the god of destruction of time warns them that if he does this, there will be absolutely dire consequences. He does not want to do this. And that he does not know what the Dark Multiverse is. He does not know the powers that it holds. Him and the Supreme Kai are the only ones that could do it. The Angel, she is, and then Alien X shuts him down. He holds his hand over his mouth and tells him that he doesn't care. He will be able to control it all. He will find out what is beyond. He then absorbs the crystal from the God of Destruction of Time, and then explodes his body, and he becomes even more golden and more powerful. However, as he looks around the darkness around him, the Dark Multiverse looks in, and with them big red old eyes, they lure down at him. And Alien X is shocked by this. He's like, "Nuh-uh, you can't do nothing to me. I'm gonna be a god soon." And the Dark Multiverse entity is like, "Oh no, you're not. I've set infinite numbers of myself as small little avatars across both dimensions. Do you really think you have a chance? I think you might know them. Some of them are called Mr. Popo." And now that this guy is able to handle the Dark Multiverse's true form and true power, it will take the Alien X as a vessel. The Dark Multiverse entity then absorbs Alien X and merges with it, becoming something far more powerful than Alien X ever was, more powerful than an Omni King. He is ultimate power now. Not too long after, they can feel reality shifting, referring to Xenogoku, Main Goku, and Xeno. However, Xenogoku has finally unlocked his newest transformation.
This is my new ultimate form, Super Saiyan 10.
With that, they are on their way. They're not exactly sure if Zeno's training is completely perfect. However, Zeno has faith in himself and knows that as long as the two Gokus can get there first, he'll finish his training here. So he teleports the two Gokus to the battlefield, and instantly the Time Patrollers and the Kryptonians on their side have the upper hand. They start beating down the Dark Multiverse and are able to combat them. Xenogoku shows up to the Goku who laughs and punches him straight through a star. There's nothing Goku who laughs could have done against this. And then everybody's in awe of their new transformations, Super Saiyan 10 Xenogoku and Super Saiyan Omni Main Goku. They then start wiping out the Dark Multiverse left and right with simple Kamehamehas and Ki Blast. However, this all changes when they hear a mighty roar from the newly emerged Alien X, and even Zeno can feel this from his dimension millions of universes away, and they all feel the power of their new Dark Overlord, Ultimate X.